A law student just messaged me and said that I speak English quite well and that he is not sure whether because of his inability to speak English as well as I do might hinder his progress in his quest to become a lawyer. And I thought that this is a very good point to talk about in a video because I have had a lot of people tell me that I speak English very well. A lot of people have told me that I am decently successful because I speak English very well, and a lawyer needs to know good English. In fact, I remember making a small video several months ago, almost a year or two ago, in which I said that you must engage a lawyer who speaks good English, or at least who is able to read and write in English well. Otherwise, you will face challenges in a court of law. However, upon further introspection, I feel that if you're not able to speak English very, very fluently, it doesn't really matter. Of course, if you're able to read and write, that's a bare minimum in English, because the judgments of the Supreme Court and the High Courts of the country are all passed in the English language. There are translations that happen, but the kind of volume of study that you have to go for, it is very, very difficult for you to be able to go through all translated copies. You need a lawyer who is able to at least read and write in English. Having said that, to all the lawyers and future lawyers who are law students right now, I have to say this. First and foremost, it does not matter how amazing your English is, because when you are in a court of law, the court is not looking at how fluent you are or what is your grammar. In fact, in the district courts, if you use fancy words, the judge will in all probability be a little more prejudiced towards you, because even if a judge had a decent command over the English language, because they're dealing with lawyers who speak in the vernacular on a lot of occasions, and even if they speak in English, they speak in a little broken English, they also lose their own touch as well. And that is why district courts don't speak in English much unless the judge himself is quite inclined to speak in the English language. On the other hand, even if you talk about High Court and Supreme Court, even if your English is a little broken, it doesn't really matter. I have also seen junior lawyers with no command over the English language using one or two good judgments and one or two logical conclusions to win their case, despite having the most eloquent people standing in front of them. One thing I would say is you should perhaps try to improve your command over the English language, because the better your command over the language, the more you will be able to structure your arguments better. But that is a finer nuance which has to be fixed over several years, if not decades. And it is not just the language, but also construction of the way that you use your arguments in a court of law. To illustrate it a little better, me, despite having 8 years of practice under my belt, I still think about how I am going to compress this large amount of data into just minute 30 seconds, 1 minute long arguments before a judge. So I need to understand, I need to pick my words, I need to choose them very, very carefully, lest I waste the time of the court and as a consequence lose my client's matter. You need to try, and rather than focusing on, in fact, I would say improving your English language, I would say you should try and focus on perhaps constructing your sentences, even if your English might not be that great. And let me tell you another thing. There are a lot of people, myself included, who were educated in good English mandatory speaking convent schools. And when they go in a court of law, they want to sound perfect, they want to sound articulate. And because of that, they keep fumbling about with their words. I remember when I was in, I think, second or third year of law school, I was interning in the office of an advocate on record who is now presently a judge in the Allahabad High Court. I was interning in his office. I remember having an associate who again spoke impeccable English over there. That associate went and addressed arguments before the Supreme Court, and I could see the associate stuttering again and again, and I could see why this associate was stuttering. It was because of the attempt to sound as good as possible, to have flawlessly constructed sentences. And because of that, there was a lot of stuttering. So much so that the associate was so embarrassed about what transpired, despite it not being the associate's first or second argument, but having had dozens of arguments under their belt already. The associate comes and asks me, a lowly intern, whether the arguments were good or not. And at that point of time, I realized that perhaps your command over the English language is not as important as some people think it to be. At the end of the day, I think it's, if you feel a little insecure about you not being able to communicate well in the English language, if you're a lawyer or a law student, I think it's just an insecurity. On the other hand, let me say this as well. Those of you who do have a good command over the English language, let's not get cocky. Let's not think that this is the most important skill, and since we've already got it covered, we don't really need to put in as much work. Trust me, you might make great Shakespearean dialogues in a court of law. Yet, if you're not strong on your facts, if you're not strong on your law, you will see the consequences staring right at you in the face.